All right. Shalom. Hello, hello. Okay. So, disclosure, I'm in the lobby of a hotel. What is this going on? And it may be noisy, so I need to know if you can hear me because I do not have my microphone. If it ever pops in. And I'm going to give it a few minutes to wait and see. That's a weird angle. Strange. Yeah, I feel like I'm like looking up. Okay. All right. I typed it in case you couldn't hear me. Okay. Back up. I want you to be able to hear me. I really do. So I want to say welcome. My name is Amaliasiler. I'm a scribe for Yahovah. He activated me in the fall of 2018, and I'm here to do a series which goes with my new book that I just published and released on Amazon called School of the Warrior Woman. And that is because Yahovah has activated his daughters this year. He wants his daughters to plan, prepare, establish, and build the things that are important to him this year for what is coming. So that's why we're here today. For those of you that don't know about my book, you can go back a few videos, and I did talk about it in a bunch of videos prior to this. But today is going to be an introduction to the book itself, because my goal is to have classes set up in such a way that every Sunday at 10 a.m. we will do a class. And today is sporadic because I'm not in the kind of situation I would like to be in to do this, like with the dry erase board behind me and kind of the ability to teach. So that's why it's just an introductory class. But nevertheless, the information is good. It will bless you. And I am excited for those of you, if you can't be here live right now, those of you watching the replay, you will be blessed. And I'm just excited because I may have written the book with my fingers, but I will tell you that I did not write the book. The Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, wrote the book. And I have to, instructed by Yahovah, I have to walk this out with you guys. So it's not like I'm just teaching and not doing, it's actually action in the teaching. So it's, we're doing this together. So it's a good thing. So I want to encourage you now to get a notebook out and a pen. And I'll give you a sec to do that. Oh, and at the end, in the description box below, I will include links to all of the worksheets that I've made so far, because it's important that you print those out. They're simple. I do everything in Google Docs, so it's super simple. Just print them out, and you might want to get a binder and put it together in a binder, because that's what I'm doing, just like you. My goal is to create a journal and publish that in the next, I would say, 7 to 10 days. So that will come out before we are done. These classes will run for 6 weeks, beginning today. And I will announce the topic for the class, because we might not go in order of the book. I'm going to allow I'm going to allow the Ruach HaKodesh to lead. And on that leading, it's not going to be in the same order that the book is written, because these are the things that are important to him first for us to touch on. So that being said, let's jump into the introduction. And all right. All right, so this is boot camp. And with any kind of training for anything, I was thinking about this last night while I was walking. With any kind of boot camp or training, or let's say starting an exercise regimen, or you've been in the military and you had to go away to boot camp, right? It's hard. It's really hard. And I was thinking about this last night as I was taking a walk, and I was like trying to put things in perspective, as far as like, why can't I master this, or why can't I like just do it for certain things like fasting? And so Abba pointed out that it's a boot camp and it's hard, and you have to commit to it. You have to put everything else aside, and you have to be like, I'm doing this, I'm committed to it, I will do it. So I don't know why, but that light bulb went off last night. I was like, oh my goodness, so right. So that's what I'm asking you to do, is really commit. And don't commit for me, don't commit for the book. Commit for you, because 2019 is a powerful, powerful year that Abba wants to use women in new ways, in new places, and in new heights and depths. And I just see that everywhere. I see it everywhere. I'm not the only person that he's spoken to release something such as this School of the Warrior Woman. There's many other women who are doing things similar to that, and even down to like, you know, all the prophetic words and everything. So I am committing today that I'm taking this very, very seriously, because I want to be a chosen. You know, the Bible says many are called and few are chosen. Do you want to be a chosen, or do you want to be a called? Because the called stand in line. They don't get to the front. The chosen go to the front. They do the hard things, right? So I determined in my mind last night that I was going to do this boot camp. No matter how hard it is, I'm going to see it through, because I want to come out the other side better. I want to come out the other side refined and white. And so Abba brought this word to me this morning, and it is Daniel 12:10. So write that down, Daniel 12:10, because that's kind of the basis for this whole boot camp, really. And he pointed that out to me this morning, and it is. And I don't have much room here, so sorry, guys. It is, many shall be cleansed and made white and refined, but the wrong shall do wrong, and none of the wrong shall understand, but those who have insight shall understand. So look around everywhere. You can see that the ones that are understanding right now are being cleansed. And that's kind of what this boot camp is a cleansing. There's so many areas in our lives, or at least in my life, I know that I need cleaned up. I mean, it's good, but it's not where it should be. So I've got to press in and say, all right, where do you want to clean up? What are my weaknesses? What are the things that are going that the enemy is going to attack? You know, I mean, he attacks everything, but what I'm trying to say is like he's going to attack where you're weakest the most. So I want you to write down 3 of your top weaknesses, because that's something you need to really dig in and really overcome. And so you can ask for the grace, and grace will be given to overcome those things, but this is the season to overcome them. We will have extended grace to overcome that now if we lay it before him because of the time we are in. So I see that everywhere. I see that I'm being refined and made white, and the highlighting of the word, and I'm sorry it's so noisy in here, the highlighting of the word purity, cleanse, and what is the other word? Purity, cleanse, and refined. Those words have just been so highlighted to me. And I'll go into depth later about this, not this class because it's the introduction, but the cleansing of our temple. And I'm being so convicted in that right now. So convicted. So I believe that if you're here, you are an understanding one, right? So you are a chosen. And that's awesome because we need to build the sisterhood of chosens. I think we can all come to the conclusion that we are in a time of the last days. We know that the last of the last is here. We are all walking that out right now. So throughout this whole thing, we're going to touch on 7 areas that need, or that Abba wants to work in and through us, so that we are warriors in every area of our life. And I'm gonna say those 7, and then you probably want to write them down, and then I'm going to write those down. And then I have 7 strategies throughout the book. There will be numerous keys that we will touch on. And I'm going to do 3 keys per class so that you're not overwhelmed, but that you can dig deeper into each one to find, how it's going to align in your life. So let's see. The first one is family. The second is gonna fall under your gifts and talents or your mission. I put mission because that's better, and then you can branch off under it. 3 is going to be leadership and serving. So I put it together as servant leadership because you need to master both of those. Stewardship in every area of your life. Stewardship. And that means everything. Health and wellness. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then communing with sisters and brothers and community and with Abba. And then the last one is going to be a really big branch is going to be holy habits. And so that's going to fall under, are you wasting time? It's going to fall under your time management. Well, not management. I don't use that word anymore. It's going to fall under time, living set apart, and how, let's see how to put this, how the world sees you. So are you really, truly walking it out? So just write down holy habits, because that's kind of all of them in one, but it'll get broken down as we go through it. So those are the 7 categories of living, and the most important ones to us. I know that it's always been an issue, and if you're a mom, you've always dealt with something under each of those subjects or topics. I mean. All right. Oh, I also want to say that, okay, so the first workbook, the one that's published now, and I'll put the link on Amazon where you can go buy it, is going to touch on specific things, but volume 2, okay, is going to dig like an onion. We're going to peel the layers back. So the first one is going to touch on everything, like the 7 topics that I just gave you, and we'll break those down, and then you'll work on your area of mastery, I guess, and we'll work on your area and master that. But in volume 2, it's going to be broken down deeper, and we're going to address things, spiritual warfare, and like weapons, and we're just going to go a lot deeper in it. So I've already written about, I would say, over half of the second workbook's almost done, and I plan to have that published in the next 2 weeks. So they're really going to be like back to back. So after this 6 weeks will be another 6 weeks, and we're going to continue, because I do think that there's going to be like 4 volumes to this series of books. So it's gonna fill up the whole year. And if you're serious, you're gonna walk it out, and if you're not, you're gonna give up, because you need to decide now if you're fully committed and make that promise to yourself. If you're ready and willing to take your life to that next level, and stop looking at people who are, well, stop looking at people altogether, because you can't compare yourself to anyone else. But the chosen are very similar to the 1% in the world. Okay, so you have the 1% of the world, and then you have the 1% for Abba. And if you want to be that 1%, you've got to basically put your life up on the altar and commit 110%. And so that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm doing, and that's why I say I'm walking this out with you personally. And I do want to share a little bit about the past few weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, I was doing that detox, and it was really hard and really painful, as far as just feeling yucky. It's kind of like when you don't have sugar, and then you feel you have headaches, and you're just, out of whack. Your body's adjusting because it's getting the nasty stuff out. So I went through that, and that whole time I was not able to focus on anything. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, that was really hard. And I feel like I failed in a way, but I know I didn't, because that's the enemy. But I've been really convicted, and I shared this on Instagram yesterday or the day before about food and about health and wellness, what's going in, what's being put on my body, what's in, what the foods are I'm eating, and about fasting. And the people who are committed, or I think people who are able to fast for long periods of time, I feel like they have like an extended period of grace over them. Like they're just able to, I don't know, it's just a gift. Like Abba's given them this special gift to where they can just do that. And that's not me. So, but that's an area that we have to master. We have to master that area because there's a lot that falls under it that we will overcome when we master that area. So that's one thing that I'm dealing with right now, because I feel like he's telling me to do like a 7-day or 14-day just water. And to me that's like really hard. But I also know at the same time that if I'm obedient, if I do it, that I will be set free from a lot of stuff, and that I'll be delivered from a lot of things that I need to be delivered from, and cleansed and back to the word purity, because it's getting this temple clean. And so I read the verse this morning too, that it was Matthew. Oh, I read it. Let me see. I really want to tell you. Here it is. Okay, so this morning I read Matthew 12:43 through 45, and it was the return of the unclean spirit after deliverance. So the spirit wanders and finds nowhere to go, but it returns to the person since the person has been delivered. And suddenly the house is clean and pure and tidy, right? So the unclean spirit goes and says, hey, and brings 7 more. And then the state of the person is worse than the first time. So it will be with this generation. Are you noticing that? Because I notice it everywhere. Everywhere I notice it. And so that's why he's really impressing to me that this needs to be clean and, kept clean, because then we will be in a worse state if it's not. And I've noticed that, like, if I change my diet and I eat really crappy, to come back to that clean diet is like a million times harder than it was the first time that I quit. So that's so when the time comes, we go into health and wellness. We're going to dig deep into that, in this series, we're going to dig deep into the food, the things you put on your body, how to protect yourself, investing. And now in volume 2, we're going to go deeper and then deal with the aspect of the demonic and the spiritual warfare and those things. Because as a warrior, right? As a warrior, you need to know how to fight the natural, and you need to know how to fight the supernatural. And you need to know your weapon, and you need to know to put your armor on every day, and you need to know what to pray, what to speak and say at any moment. And I heard this one sister say, I think it was a few weeks ago, that, she was convicted because she was talking with a woman, and the woman's telling her about her problems. And the woman's, just saying, hey, this is going on, this going on, this going on. And the sister said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll pray for you. And then she left. And then she said the Ruach HaKodesh convicted her because she had her head covered. and said that if your head is covered, then you have the authority to stop and pray with that woman right then and there for her needs, deliverance, etc. So ever since I heard that, I realized that that is why Abba calls some women to wear a covering all the time. And it's because we are activated as warriors. And part of that is what you wear. So I thought that was kind of a cool topic. Or a cool story, not topic, but you know what I mean. So let me make sure. I think there's one more thing that I need to touch on. Just gotta find it. Okay. All right. So overall, since it was kind of a scattered video and I didn't exactly, I keep putting my hand here so that I can hear myself. Present this the way I intended to present it, so I apologize. But I will come on maybe sometime this week when I'm able and do a little bit better updated video or introduction. But I just wanted to put something together for you guys that do have the book and are ready to do this. So we are commanded to live by faith. We must give Abba the first opportunity to meet our needs, and I am walking that out right now personally. Don't let the fear of man replace the fear of Yahovah, and that is something we need to do. We need to remember that daily. It's time to stop looking at people, okay? Stop worrying about what they think. Pray, ask, listen, stay humbled, believe, trust, know, and receive. Next is step by step, we must first believe. So we are called to believe Abba in everything, every area of our life. We're called to believe. And he specifically told me that then to last year. He said, Amy, you're called to believe the rest of the year. And he said, believe that I've changed your name to Amalia. Believe that I'm going to meet your need. Believe what I say. And so that's a big deal to him. Know that shalom is available all the time from Abba. And it is the prescription that cures fear, anxiety, depression, helplessness, worry. So take it as many times a day as needed. And confess your need to one another. The other thing he's highlighting, and the reason I'm doing these videos, is because we are to share the burdens. Okay? We can be part of the solution, or we can be part of the problem. Take opportunity to talk with others about what is on your heart, ask them what's on their heart, but it's really community, loving your neighbor and walking that out. You have to learn to be still and sit and soak. And that's really hard, but we have to learn to do that. And then practice your emunah muscles daily. So if you've never had a need for anything, or if you've always had everything that you've ever needed, then you obviously maybe haven't had to work your faith muscles as much, but I highly doubt that anyone's ever had those things. So it takes exercise. It doesn't just happen. It's like going to the gym. If you're working out, your arm muscles to get stronger, you have to do the same thing with emunah. You have to exercise it and say, I believe for this, or I believe for that. And in emunah, which is faith, I believe. So you have to stay, work it out can build that muscle until it's strong, and then you don't have to think about it. You just do it. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think that's it for this one. It's just introduction. Like I said, I'm going to link up all the worksheets so you can print those out. They'll be in the description box below. And then I'll be doing another live probably Tuesday. So look for when I put that together. And I want to know if you want this to be live on Facebook as well as YouTube, or if YouTube works. I prefer to stay on YouTube. I don't really like to do a whole lot on Facebook, but there's a lot more traffic there. So I just want you to put in the comments if that is something, if you prefer one or the other, so that way I will be able to be wherever you can see. But that's all I'm going to talk about in this one. And I pray you have a beautiful day. And I love you. And I'm glad that we are going on this journey together. And I will see you guys Tuesday. Not sure what time, so I'll post the time. Yeah, I'll post the time on Monday sometime. So look out for that posting when it does come out. All right. Shalom.